Actually going to go ahead and jump into this topic. As always, we do have boxes open, so as it goes, if somebody wants to jump up, they're more than welcome. We're going to look at what the topic actually means to start with. So the guys kind of looked at me twice when I'm like in between, and they're like, okay, yeah, obviously they're not your average Joe, so they know it means a little something more. So they're nodding their heads and looking at me, and they're like, okay, what? And that's it, is the fact that we're always in between something in our existence, through our transitions, through our growth, through our learning, through our existence of experience. We're always transitioning. There's always something that we're in between. And tonight I want to look at the stark truth of what this means to us, and how that truth and acceptance helps us get not just through it, but to a point that we are ascending. We are grateful for the in-between. So, just to start tonight, Vinny, I'd like to know, when you see the in-between, when you hear it expressed, what is it that it inspires inside of you? What makes you actually get up in this box?
Okay. So the in-between. So I think this is what I appreciate about this live, by the way. It's kind of like a jump rope, right? So I didn't really know when you posted up, when you said in-between, I wasn't sure where we were going with this. But as I listened to you talk, I could kind of figure it out and kind of jump right in. So here's my jumping right in here. So the in-between, right? So that's kind of like, it can mean many things. Like, it could be a transition. It could be, a point in time when something pivotal happened or something's about to happen. So it can mean a lot of things. For me, the in-between are all those moments where, you can feel something coming, it's coming, and it's not quite here yet. So you're in that transitional period where you're just kind of remaining present while you wait for the universe to catch up with what you're trying to do. So that's kind of what I think about when I think about the in-between. Those moments where you have to learn to be patient and just trust the process.
All right, Vinny. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. James, yes you are. Yes you are.
Hey, so what I feel about the in between right now is I feel we all go through certain stages of development in our lives where we stop and analyze where we are and feel the opportunities that lie ahead. And if I'm not mistaken, I think what I'm trying to say is there is a certain level of self-awareness where I think we prepare ourselves for the growth that we need. And then there's a moment where maybe we pause and we have that option to go back, which may be healthy and healing for some people because they may not have learned all the lessons that they needed to. But it's that pause, I think, which is needed for us, that in between, to propel ourselves to the next, let's say, perceived mountaintop. And then we stop and then we elevate ourselves and we get to a level or a place where we no longer, let's say, judge or react because of this or because of that. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, that in between feels like a moment where we examine our feelings, examine, are we ready to take this next step. And maybe it's a way of rallying the courage and, to take care of that last bit of doubt regarding certain whatever that we're dealing with. But it's definitely, for me, like a feeling of pausing and reflecting and getting ready to take off to the next level, or to stay where we are and keep learning. But if I'm conveying your message right, I think this is how I feel about it. If I'm correct.
Hey, that's the beauty of that, brother. Like, it's what you feel. That's what I'm looking for. It's just, what does that inspire in you? And you said it. That's what you feel. So there's there's no way to be incorrect in that. Just saying. All right. Thank you, James. I appreciate you. Rubanis.
Hello. Yeah. So the in between. For me, the in between is the fourth and fifth dimension reality. It's like when you've gone through the third dimension, right? And you're literally stuck at the fourth because you can't accept the fifth yet. And when you accept the divinity of the fifth dimension wholly, and when that eye is looking at you and you can accept it properly and learn from everything that you've done before, then the in between won't be any longer. You'll be able to move on properly and fully. And that's what I think. It's the journey in between those two dimensions. Actually, all three, truthfully. Third, fourth, and fifth. But the fourth and fifth is what I'm talking about.
I see. That's really interesting. No, I mean, that's a very interesting perspective. Thank you. Like, you got me on that one. You got me on that one right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you are literally doing that. But you're a little bit ahead of me. Actually, a lot ahead of me, but that's all right. You got help, though. That's not fair. No. Anyways, yeah.
Wait. So,
What's up, folks? How are we? Good to see you.
hey, Eddie. Welcome in, man. Great. Well, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. So, I'm trying to process Urbanus's response to my question. While I'm doing that, I'm going to welcome in my love, Innovision, and Edio. I don't know if we want to go in order of the boxes or order of how y'all came up here. So, I'm gonna flip a coin on that one. But let's see.
I would love to hear Innovision, truthfully.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, since we're gonna go in order of how they came up, going that way, Rabanus. And for Edio, I don't know if you heard the question, just to give you a moment that you might get to prepare for it. I asked, what did people feel? Like, what was their insight? What basically drew them up into the box when they seen the advertisement or read the topic as in between? What did that inspire for them? So just kind of sit on that for now, and you'll be up after Innovision. All right.
Greetings.
love.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. My inspiration for coming up into the box is to, of course, show truth in the light of everything that has come between us, or everything that we have accepted to be between us. A lot of it has to do with time. Truly, that is in between us all. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to being a part of this co-creation.
Gracias. Thank you. And that is that is a point. Like that's a needle point right there. So I appreciate that as well. Y'all are coming in with the big perspectives tonight, so I'm here for it. I appreciate it. All right, Eddie-O.
Hi, Fire Ash. Doing great.
Thanks, Eddie.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm processing.
I bet a lot of people heard the Dave Matthews song "Space Between" in their head, at least once already tonight, right? Maybe twice. I heard it twice. Right. Well, wicked ways. So you would do me the honor of repeating what you presented before Innovision spoke. I appreciate it.
So, Eddie, let me ask you a question. So,
Thank God.
this is what the in between. That's what we're talking about. What does that mean to you? Why would you come up to the? Not why would you? That sounds a little bit. I love you. It's just what made you come up to explain your version of in between? Of what does that make you feel like? How does that? What does that bring out in you when you hear that the in between?
I think if you can stabilize there, it's probably very comfortable. There's probably very little wind. Tai Chi, you start off with your feet together and you picture yourself kind of standing on a telephone pole, like a circle, like only that amount of space is underneath you, and then you find balance, and then all of a sudden you're not moving any muscles, but you're there. You're still standing up. It's kind of weird when you do it for the first time. It's like, oh, this is kind of weird. A very subtle shift to get in between. I don't know, because even if I had I'm in between decisions, so I could be mindful, make a choice, and follow my instinct. I can still make another in between. There's always room for another in betweens that already are the other. So it's a place. I think that's when we are in between. It should be our choice is first and foremost the only experiences we get to use our intuition. We have engagements where now that trusting our intuitive natural selves guide that comes into play in these situations. So when you're in between, that's when you know that at least you can be aware, or you can stay. It's like, would you really want to stay there forever? I don't know. It sounds like if the quest doesn't continue until you make a non-in-between for the moment anyways, you must make a choice for now for the experience to continue to another one. So it sounds temporary in this place to me. Try now. Thanks, Rab. I had no idea what you guys talking about, man. You're hitting heavy. You were right.
So that's what we're talking about, though. We're talking about transitions. We're talking about the in-between and how we actually function and get to a place where we're not just being, inundated with everything, but instead we are choosing to be inundated with the light source and the codes of the new earth. We're choosing to accept the transition and be grateful for it. So we're talking tonight about the realistic factors of it, what we go through, and how we actually build from that foundation to handle these ascensions, these transitions that we all face. So I'm going to start back up at the top here with Vinny. And I'd just like to know, Vinny, is there specific for you a moment where you can recall and recognize where you applied your awareness and said, okay, this is a transition. I am going through a transition. Is there a moment like that for you?
Yeah, I can think of a couple actually. The major one that comes to mind is the one that everybody has, and that's the awakening process, right? We're going from a process where we were, you know, whatever was happening in our lives pushed us to the point where we had to start seeking and making sense of things, right? So that's a transition period. More recently, I can think of a period where, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to do was be a writer. I didn't know how I was going to be a writer. I didn't know how I was going to even accomplish this. I had an idea, but it wasn't what I was intended to do. So just, transition period was the first time I wrote a poem. I knew that was a transition period because that was the start of something new, a chapter that was going to lead somewhere grand. And that's where it is, leading somewhere grand. So I guess that's kind of two transition periods I can recall that were significant in my life.
That's awesome, man. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing too. All right, yes you are. Can you give us one that is just that moment where your awareness clicked and you're like, I'm going through a transition?
Yeah, the first thing that pops in my mind was during my divorce to my ex, my narcissistic ex. When I had finally realized, I think that I had to get out. I had to really step outside and realize what I had to do for my kids to maintain the living arrangements before the divorce. And I realized at that point that I had to not react, of course, to the negativity that she lives with. And I had to sit back and really see how I wanted the last days of living with this being to be for the whole of my family. So I was at the time going through learning about how to handle a narcissist, and I had to learn to gray rock her, which means I would become boring and not really engage her in conversations and be very bland with my responses to her, which was hard because I'm not that kind of person. But I had to play that role. But also, I had to realize that my kids were also seeing me in that space. So I had to be able to keep a positive atmosphere, but not let it be known that I was doing this gray rock technique. And so I had to really use my awareness in a way where sometimes I would have to play along with my ex and do things that I really knew I didn't want to do. But in order to get to my goal, which was to finally get separate from this being, I had to rely on a certain amount of just winging it but winging it in a way where I was completely different from I was before, where I was reacting to her. And I learned that I had to become the gray rock that blossoms, is what I call it, where I had to maintain this aura of peace and awareness. And from going through that with my divorce, I learned a very valuable lesson, because then I moved my mother in when I moved my ex-wife out, and then I discovered she was one. And so I had to learn that, and that was the reason why I could never get along with my mother and why she was that way. So then all of a sudden, all the lessons I learned from my ex-wife, I was actually going through the same thing again, but I had to deal with it from a childhood, traumatic, from all the childhood wounds that my mom would reignite from the way she would talk to me. So it was very much a really, I really had to step out and not just look at other people, but look at myself, learn how I'm reacting to these situations. And for a long time, I would react normally, but in my head, outwardly, no one would know. But then I realized that too wasn't very healthy for me. So I had to step back out of myself and realize that I had to be patient with myself and really make this journey to this peace and to become the living embodiment of it more and more in my own thoughts. And that inner expression would more and more start to influence my outward expression. So I think that's what I have for that.
Heck yeah, bro. Thank you. I appreciate you, James. As always, bro. We may not see each other all the time, but I'm always grateful for the time that we do spend.
Thank you, Ash.
Thank you. Rabanus. Question is to you.
A transitional period. Recently, I had...
No time and limitation. It's just a moment where you recognized with your awareness that you were going through a transition.
It would be the first time I met my friends, or pretty much, I guess, close family, my soul tribe, over there. And I was talking to them. I was like, hey, what's up? And they were talking back. And they were validating the information that I was saying. And I was like, oh, finally I caught up. And it was wonderful. It was I always wanted to talk about it with those people. And I really, really, really appreciate what I've learned and the information that allowed me to move a little bit forward in my ascension process. And all the information that came after. I really appreciate it, those guys. Okay, you guys. Sorry.
That's awesome.
And that's it. I don't really have any. I'm so glad that I met you guys. That's all.
Oh, we appreciate you, Rabanus. I know that we've all grown together and we've seen it. So that's the beauty of it, of the truth, right?
Indeed.
Can't be hidden. All right. Speaking of the beauty of truth, my love, and a vision.
Thank you. You don't have to maintain the out of order sequence. It's alright. a moment
appreciate you.
that I experienced a transition. These happen often. In essence, it could be every day, but I will share the acceptance of where I am, what I'm doing, and how it doesn't matter to the whole, it just matters to me. I would be interested in knowing why you picked the topic of being in between and transitioning or ascending through.
That's a beautiful question, and I would not deny you the answer. It's something that I recognize and realize that it happens to us all, for us all, no matter what. But I have noticed that the greater the level of awareness and understanding of the energy that is shifting around us, the easier it becomes to, shall we call it, avoid the pitfalls of the transition by acceptance through the grace of it. So that would be my answer to that, my darling. So we're going to kick it back up, and starting next round, we'll just go down the boxes in the flow that they're in. We're going to kick back up to Edio, and then we will go over to Miss Hopi. Edio, the question is to you. The question really is, that was put to the panel, a moment in time that they can remember where they were going through a transition and they actually applied their awareness to it and recognized it as a transition. Edio. Hey, Rabanus, can you poke Eddie, see if he's awake?
Oh, there I am. Thank you for your acknowledgement. So recently, my divinely path-led life I live, lost in a relationship ago, and that was fucking, this is a lesson, let's do. I did it. I sat down and did the homework in detention by myself and phased it in, blah, blah, blah. That's the easy answer, right? I knew that was part of a transition, and I am all the more better man because of me doing that for myself. Woohoo. So I was once in a place, I would say I was in between, and I couldn't get out, and it ended up being a huge transition in my life. So I was at a point in my life not too long ago where I had a choice that I could not make either choice. I couldn't stop drinking or I would die. I would be not living anymore because my body was so chemically, and I would be gone. And I couldn't continue to drink because clearly I would end up the same thing. So I couldn't make a decision to not do it or to do it. And I was in the between. I couldn't quit because I would die. I couldn't continue because so as weird sounds go off my room. So I just sat there and I gave up. And at that time, friends, I didn't look in the mirror for like 2 years. I was corpse-ish, and I did make one of those decisions. I drank during that time, and it led to one of those two decisions, which was the outcome of both those decisions. Therefore, not making a decision stuck in the in-between, I gave up. And the morning came, and went to a place for people that are fucking all not looking so hot in that situation. I gave up. I don't know. I wasn't doing it. I wasn't doing either thing. There was no, I gave up. I didn't make a choice. And then, lo and behold, 2 months later, there it was. A transition had occurred, and my time of transitioning, as I'm saying, I met you guys, and the rest is history. So from there, so I went through a huge transition, stuck in the in-between worlds, came out of it through some wacky back door into this place, and met you guys like lickety split, and yeah, here we've been. But it was the end. My only friends. It was that kind of party. I couldn't try to it was so it was amazing. It was so a place. It was an atmosphere, man. All kind of. Good thing I'm not a painter, man. I wouldn't be pretty pictures. I love you guys. You guys are my reality, my life. It's like you're as much of my destiny as all our destinies are a part of some greater good. Like rock and roll, guys.
Much love, Adio. We appreciate you. And yeah. That that for sure is a transition. It truly is. So, and we are grateful that you made it through it. So, Miss Hopi Love. Hi. How are you?
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing?
We're great. So we're talking about transitions and the in-between and all that fun jazz. And I kind of asked everybody if they could recall a moment in their existence where they were going through a transition and they realized it in their awareness. They took it into their awareness and recognized it for the transition that it was. If you would do us the honors.
Yeah, I think I would be when I moved from Massachusetts to Maine. Because at first I felt like thrown here, like I didn't have a choice. But then I ended up getting my two younger grandchildren. I already had the oldest one. And I realized the transition into why I was placed here. Because they needed me. They needed a calm situation. And if we had stayed and I got them in Massachusetts, it would not have been how it is now, I know I go crazy on the regular because I have three wild boys, but it would have been a lot more hectic out there in Mass, and I feel that the transition, when I realized that, I was very grateful. Because at first I was very upset about it, like, oh, why am I here and all alone? I don't know anybody, and it was like a new start. But once I realized why, and was very grateful for the whole situation and very happy for the transition. Now, as much as I love Mass and Mass is my home, when I go there, for some reason, I want to come back here because of the calmness. So it's kind of funny in that way now,
Yeah, for sure. That's epic, Opie. I appreciate you sharing that with us. And I've been there. I understand when you get a calling like that and just the way it roots into your soul, that energy just takes hold. And of course it's because you want it to. You accept it because it's your calling. So Yeah, that
Yeah, and I
hasn't.
was truly blessed too through the transition where. Oh, hold on. I was going through a lot of time and looking for a new place to live, and my best friend for my entire life, like I don't ever remember her not being part of my life. I'm 50, and I think we met when we were like 4, you know. And she called me and said, "What are you gonna do?" I said, "I don't know." She said, "I'll be there to pick you up tomorrow." Took me and the kids in her house, and 3 of us at the time, you know. It was actually me, my man, my youngest daughter, and my oldest grandson. It was just the 4 of us. And then I got the other kids later, but I was very blessed too in a way where I had such a beautiful sister friend, you know, to help me through it all also, you know. So that made a huge difference also.
For sure, for sure. All right. Well, thank you, Miss Hopi. We are going to go over to Jimmy and present the question that I presented to all of you to him. Welcome in, Jimmy. Welcome up.
Thank you, thank you. So I've been listening in, and seems like everybody kind of has gone through the same thing, which is just so. I mean, it has to be divine, right? I mean, it has to be. My biggest thing in the transition that I'm currently going through right now is discovering my own ego and recognizing who I have been in situations where at the time I thought I was right, and now looking back at them, I see that I let my ego control the situation, and being able to recognize that now is it's hurtful to me, you know, where I hurt others because of my ego. And I mean, I recognize it in everybody's story where they're seeing their own self. And I think that's one of the biggest transition is to look back and recognize yourself. And then how can I improve on that every day? How can I be the better human being? How can I love thy neighbor? You know, and so that's my ongoing transition. I've just a month ago separated from the absolute love of my life because of my own ego. And I mean, she was at fault, but I was at fault as well by I mean, she made me out to be somebody I wasn't, and I got offended, and then let my ego take control over that, and where I could have been a little more understanding and smoothed a situation out, but instead I escalated it, and she escalated it. It just kept going, and at that moment, where I seen that it was not going to turn around, that's when I woke up to myself. Because hey, I'm just a pup, you know. I at 52 years old, I woke up, you know, and now I'm 54 now, and alone, completely alone, because I've run off everybody in my whole life. And the only common denominator is me and my ego. So for me to recognize me and to recognize where I could have and should have been better is quite the transition for me. But I'm only trying to do the right thing. Where I've made mistakes, I've tried my best to fix them, current mistakes. And even if I'm being met with anger and hatred and negativity and all of that, I just come with love and light. And like I said, try to be a better human every day. And that's all I can do at this point. Thank you for letting me speak.
Yeah, we appreciate you joining us, Jimmy. Seriously.
I want to say, Jimmy, that, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ravana. It's not like you.
Oh, I want to say, Jimmy, that I totally resonate with that. When you escalate something and when it just goes way too far to where you do stuff where, or you say things where you just can't take it back. And then that just forces you to grow and check yourself and see how you even got into that situation in the first place. But yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Ego is a shifty character. Hey, and you meet your ego, right? It's still around. You're talking like you started off talking like something I'm going through, and halfway through, you're like, wait, the story's still happening. I feel you, bro. You said one thing, I'll call it out. Bro check right here. All our reactions are triggered. All triggers are reactions. It's not positive. It's all just what's happening. Now, why am I? You said, I just want to do what's right. Where does that desire to do what's right come from? Ego probably is the answer, right? Because the ego decides it wants to do what's right. It's like, no, I don't know what's right. The universe has a plan to let it out, right? Because that's all ego. So ego drives us to do positive things, even negative things. And ego driven, it's a shifty character that ego is. But, we hold on to ego because we have it. And we hold on to it, and therefore we need it. But we don't need it. So we don't have it. We can let it go because we don't need it. So we let it go. And it's like, cool trip, later. And you do, release it. After a
How
while,
about
you
a
see it
different
out there in its own
perspective
form.
then?
But it's you. It's part of you. By releasing it, you become it. But you have to face it and train the horse. But everything comes. Every response, like you can put it into it doesn't have to be positive, negative, or what's right. Because there's nothing that's right. That's right. Right. Listen to me too. We're all victim. We're all guilty of everything.
I can't
Alright, so
argue with
check it
that
out.
you just said.
Yeah, check it out. Let me give you this perspective since we're going to discuss it. Let me give you this perspective on the in-between aspects of it. Because the in-between is what teaches us a lot about it, right? And it, in this room currently, being ego. And ultimately, what we recognize is it's a part of our system that needs to be realigned and utilized as the tool that it is meant to be. Not as our primary function, not as who we are, but as a part of the system that we are in. We heal it. We realign it. We recognize that we were created to be the sophisticated light beings that we are.
Yeah, that recognition is the resonance, and our frequencies are getting tuned and filtered down. Like now, it's like we have a much more in tune, tighter individual frequency that resonates still with each other, our center. But we are in that situation.
Definitely. Alright, so we're going to put this at the top to the panel. What do you utilize as a tool for you today that you feel helps you the most through your transitions and ascensions? We're going to start at Vinny.
All right, here we go. I flipped off my comments and don't know how to get back, so at least I can get the mic on. So a tool that I use, one of the tools, believe it or not, is breathing. And I know everybody says it, but we don't do it enough. And those moments in the in-between where you're uncertain or you're not sure what to do, your ego, we talked about ego, right? Your ego is telling you to do one thing, right? Whatever your ego, the first instinct is always the ego. That's just what I've learned. So if you take a step back from the craziness and just allow yourself some time to breathe, process the information, your second instinct is always the right choice. That's always the path that's you're waiting for to be illuminated, right? So that's we talk about the ego, but then we have our higher mind or our spiritual mind. That's the one we want to listen to. That's the one that's going to keep us balanced. It's going to keep us, in those in-between moments. It's going to give us the peace and the tools and the, understanding to know that not everything is permanent and everything's a transition. So sometimes when these energies get either, this doesn't always have to be positive or negative. It can be positive, heavy positive energies or heavy negatives. When they come up, man, just using those tools and just being aware of those things is helpful so that you don't create extra pressure on yourself, because life it's not easy. So you got to give yourself a little bit of leeway and a lot of compassion, because you're going to make mistakes. We all do. We're all going to make bad choices, but we learn from those choices and we face them again. We try to make better choices so that this way we can keep growing and being the positive people we want to be in this life and do what we want to do with our life that makes us happy and makes us want to get up and come into these kind of places and come with joy and look forward to hanging out with spiritual family that you see every week. So it's like Sunday dinner. So that's kind of the tools I use, I guess. Hope that answered the question.
Well, you know what Ash says about that. Don't worry about hoping if you answer the question, because it's me, man. If you didn't answer my question, I'll let you know, and you're answering it just fine. So just keep being your authentic self, man. That's all I ask. All right. So we are going to go over to Yes You Are and present the question to him.
Can you just repeat it one more time? Sorry, I'm a little tired.
No, it's okay, brother. So basically, what tool do you utilize the most today to help you ascend through your transitions?
I think the tool, like I said before, that I use a lot is, I don't even know if there's a word for it, but self-analyze or self-reflection. Just always looking at myself and thinking of how I react throughout my day. And always at the end of the day, I kind of review in my head, like, pinpoint moments where, I could have chose to be softer with my words, or where I could have, dealt with someone, or maybe not went into gossip if a friend was having a problem with someone. I'm always looking at myself and never really thinking of myself as being complete but actually knowing that I am shaping my own thoughts, my own reactions, so that I, can have an equal amount of, or just say less, just a reflection of my own, looking at myself and not knowing that I can be better, knowing that I'm not perfect, but at the same time, you know, just being a little bit more analytical about myself, but in a very patient and soft way where I'm not like, I used to be very hard on myself, but now, I'm realizing that there's more and more opportunities to be a positive influence in people's lives by not jumping to conclusions, not jumping into speech, but coming from a place of stillness and patience. And, I think for me to grow into the love that I know that we can be, which is basically a love that is totally different than what we feel now. I'm always making sure, looking at myself, and then, in the future, I know that, I'm going to be in a situation where, it may not be the most positive energy, but I'm going to be prepared because I don't want to let myself down. If I hurt someone else, I realize I'm hurting myself. If I'm gossiping about someone, I'm realizing I'm gossiping about myself. To me, that inner reflection, that inner work is one of the most powerful things we can do, because I think a lot of times we get stagnant and we get complacent, and maybe we think that, we're okay. We might think that we're growing, but we're not. We may think that we're there, but we're not. But I know in my heart that I can always be a better person no matter what. And so at the end of the day, the more and more I do this, the more and more I realize that I'm beginning to catch myself before the words come out of my mouth, even before the thought starts to manifest. And at the end of the day, if I feel great about my feelings and the energy I produced. And then I look in the mirror and, like, in the words of the old school Mandalorians, I say,
James, that's what. Thank you. I appreciate you. And for those that are maybe taking notes, possibility of it to somewhat up what he was talking about. It's called introspection, self-reflection, introspection. It's an amazing tool. Amazing. It's one of my foundation tools that I myself have had to utilize to build myself back up. So I have much appreciation for it.
this is the way.
All right, we are going to drop down to Rabanus. The question is to you.
The tool that I use the most is definitely energy transmutation. Because half the time I don't want to deal with human beings at all. But I have to check myself and understand there's a reason why I have to do something that I either want to do or supposed to do. There's responsibilities, and there's also a responsibility to myself. The energy that that comes to me, especially when I'm on the panel like this, and even through your ascension process, when you're getting downloads, you need to know how to take it in and transform it and make it your own. no matter if it's positive or negative. Unfortunately, it's not going to be, all sunshine and rainbows all the time. You're going to get some shadow energy once in a while, but transportation of energy is definitely what I use the most, and breathing and also reflection. So both of you guys, both of those are awesome. And yeah, and I'm glad to add a little bit of piece of my information. And yeah, James, this is the way. I love Mandalorian. Anyways, that's it for it now.
Epic. Thank you. Go ahead, Eddie-O. You know the drill.
Oh, I was just gonna say I love you, James. And if I was to describe you to somebody, I would tell them you're the richest man I know.
Love you too, my brother.
Okay, well, that's beautiful, and I appreciate y'all's appreciation. But Eddie, the question is to you.
Oh my God, yeah, of course, right. Mm-hmm. Cracking up over here. You taught me to love again. All right, so what was that question? Because I gotta have to come up on the spot.
Your
You're gonna
tool,
have to give me some direction here. I need
that you
that
use
prompt.
the most to date, currently,
Today?
to help you through your ascensions.
Oh,
Yeah.
Flower of Nature. That white stuff is white with purple in it. That coked me right through and helped me say cowabunga to the mysteries. And the more you trust yourself, the more you believe in yourself. The only thing you have to believe in is you, and trust is you, because then you can allow that intuition. But yeah, I trust my intuition because I trust myself. Because we're supposed to follow So if you trust yourself more, to cowabunga more, I smoke and I'm a pretty trusting guy. I trust everything. I'm pretty trust. I resonate trust. That helps me find that place. It turns everything around me. Rumi, not to pull out a fortune cookie, but in between right and wrong, there's a garden in the middle. Meet me there. In the middle of that Tao, like this, in the middle. Pretty cool. Kind of tight wire right across those. Like that's pretty cool. But you know what I mean? It's just cool, man. Like ice skating ain't for everybody.
So, to
Is there another question?
just to simplify it, you say you use a combination of natural herbal remedies,
Yeah, friend.
smoke cleansing,
I had a commitment. I had goals made. I had work to be done, like home stuff. Like I had goals that I accomplished. I had like things that I could work on and like the results. Doing things, and it's all wicked fun stuff I love. Play a bunch of guitar, play songs, and just all that stuff is like wicked good work. That's my job now.
So you would call that soul work, right? And
Yeah,
in
like
essence, that would also be self-care.
everyone's job is to be themselves and follow their passions, right? I don't just say that so I can be like, "Ooh, can you follow my passions? My passions are sticking shovels up my butt." No, that's not why. And that's not an excuse. That's what we're supposed to do, and it's hard to do that to yourself because we don't have enough trust and love and belief in ourselves to follow that intuition the first time because we think we're wrong because we're born to think we're in trouble. Everyone's in trouble watching. It's like that's what the universe is like. They think the universe is saying to them every time. They don't like the observant. Currency. Exposure is the currency, and by us looking at the direction exposing what needs to be exposed, more people will look where we're looking. Hey, what are you looking at? All they got to do is look at it once. The Christmas tree is lit. All you do is look at it once, and they'll be in awe what they see. What people like Ohm's looking at, and you guys, and I think we're all kind of looking at the same things. Like, did you see that? Yeah, man. I land my plane. I had a great weekend though, and I'm gonna drop down.
That.
You're gonna let me go here tonight. Release me. There's no answer on the algorithmic negative positive, but I think it's the intention behind it. But I will let you. You're a great host. You're the best. I'm picturing Chris at the Crystal Show. I feel him here, though. Love you, Chris.
Love you too, Eddie.
You know we love you, Eddie, and we appreciate you. And yeah, y'all seen it here. Eddie is one of the few people that I will pop in engagement conversation with like that, only because he has invited it. You'll notice any other ways and spaces, I respect the flow to everybody gets their turn. But yeah, I appreciate that. And Chris said back at you, brother. All right, Miss Hope and Love, we are going to drop the question to you.
I think for me is number one, always go within yourself. I think that's a big important tool. Listen to your intuition. But I also have to say another helpful tool for me is to go to my soul tribe at times. If I can't figure it out by myself, because a few people that are, become like family to me on this app, James being one of them, Brenda underneath me here, just to name a couple, but like a few that I really trust and love. And I just, think sometimes we need help, if we can't figure it out on our own. But you gotta, you gotta go to people that you trust, people that that are, gonna be there for you by heart, in your heart, and that feel your heart and know your heart, And I'm very thankful that I've found a few of them on here. But yeah, I'd say go inside, use your intuition, and if all else fails, hopefully you have someone that you love and loves you that can help you through it.
Most definitely, sister. Yeah, I want to say this, Miss Hopi. There have been days where I just needed a smile. And you did that. So, I appreciate you.
Oh, really? Oh my God, thank you. I really needed to hear that today too, so thank you, sister. I love you so much.
Oof. And see, this is another thing. I get around you.
Yeah, you brought a tear to my eye too, sweetheart.
Okay. We need to have coffee. That's all
But
it is.
beautiful love,
coffee.
beautiful loving tears, so they're okay.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Hopi. All right, Jimmy. The question is to you, sir. If you would do us the honors.
Thank you. So one of my biggest tools is watching what I put into my temple through whatever venue, whether it be my food, my drink, sounds that I listen to, people, places, and things. I try my best to stay out of negative energy. I sun gaze. I ground myself. I have a special tree that I go to release negative thoughts and negative energies. And another tool would be just knowing myself, knowing what I like, what makes me happy, what makes me sad, what not. Another good tool that I use a lot is mirrored positive affirmation. Just stare yourself straight in the eyes and tell yourself you love yourself. If you have to do it 1,000 times a day to make yourself smile. Meditation, sitting with just yourself. I do a lot with just sun gazing, but and then one of one of the absolute hugest things is my people, the people that I can talk to about this kind of stuff and not be judged. That's huge. Thank y'all for letting me talk.
That's definitely, Jimmy. We appreciate you. Miss Brenda, first let me say I apologize that I skipped you that last round. I didn't even realize it until I couldn't fix it, you know? But thank you for staying and being patient with me.
Now, what drew me up here is your topic, in between. Is it okay I speak on that?
Yes, please, please. The floor is yours. Take your time.
I feel that we live in multiple universes and realms at the same time. Because the reason I feel that is because I've seen too many strange things here on this universe. And so I feel that when my time comes here, I will choose which one I want to go into. And a lot of this comes from, because I remember past experiences and stuff like that. And when my family that are no longer here come to me, they're younger, different ages than when they passed on. And they're living elsewhere because they told me that. So I feel that when my time comes, I'll go to a place and I'll have my choice where I'm supposed to go on. I get to choose. And then I'll just continue on. That's what brought me here. And for what I use to overcome, I use my intuition and I feel people's energy. So my intuition don't let me down. And my family don't let me down, the ones that passed on. So I trust what they tell me. That's all I have to say.
That was so beautiful, Miss Brenda, because you just like wrapped it all up in a perfect little, like, that was beautiful. I love that. And she's got her spiritual team, she's got her intuition, she recognizes the system that she's in, and, you know, is overcoming it, is accepting it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. So appreciate.
May I just say, Brenda is one of those most rare, beautiful people you could ever meet, you know?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm grateful that she is here with us in this beautiful community. It's awesome.
You can drop me down and let somebody else come up. And thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you so much for joining. We appreciate you. You're awesome.
Love you, Brenda.
You too, Hopi. You too, James. All of you guys.
I adore you, Brenda. I think you're amazing too.
You are, Robin. I like you. I like you a lot. I like all you guys. Like, James, he's amazing. Is it okay I say something? I don't know much about like spirituality and stuff like that. I only know what I see and what my family told me. But James, he took me on my first meditation that I went on, and because of him, I know where I originally came from in that meditation. And Vinny, he will answer any question that I have, and I like the way he responds. And Urbanus, oh my God, he's a powerhouse. He's been here lots of times. Robin, you're a beautiful soul. You're so kind-hearted, and you speak at a level that I can understand. You all do. Thank you for that. Opie, you're an old soul. I love you to pieces. Jimmy, I never met you before, but I want to say I like you 100%. And Invasion, well, you know I really like you too. I really like the way you speak. So you guys are all wonderful. Wonderful as could be.
All right, Miss Brenda, thank you so much. I'm sure they all appreciate it as well. So,
wait, I call him invasion too sometimes, but I'm like, it's an invasion.
Vision in Christ.
Thank you, man.
All right, my king, it is your turn.
It is a sense of humility that I feel at this time. Thank you, Brenda, sister of the light. With appreciation to Robin and Hopi, I know you've all been so diligent in your way. Just wanted to give that tune a chance to persuade us, to allow us to appreciate that we are not alone. In fact, we are all dancing the same. We feel it. You feel it. I feel it too. The tool that I utilize the most when transitioning is my heart. It is the greatest strength I have, as well as the biggest weakness. I often hear of those who wish to align themselves with pride or glory in their own way. And I feel a sense of detachment, of course, because I'm not attached to anything but my love. We are in a new phase, a new way. This is the way. I loved that. Thank you, James. It is in appreciation, of course, that I am with you and you are with me. But we must not hold what's in between us, against you, against me, against anyone. And it is, of course, the question that I reflect back to our host, as lovely as she is, to answer for us in her perspective, as we are all here to hear. But I would welcome Robin, Chris, Jimmy, Hopi, Ruben, James, and Vinny. As if I have not done before. Those who are with us, Philip, brother. Brother! Yeah. Thank you for allowing me to share. Thank you all for allowing me to be a part of your experience. And I would welcome any questions, any inquiry.
Would you reinstate your question, please?
It is a reflection of the question you've asked me. All of us.
Okay. So in that reflection, it's exactly that. I'm looking at the reflection of what I'm going through, the transitions, obvious ones. I'm transitioning unity, union, anchoring in the new earth frequency while having to release all of the old that comes up as it comes up. Recognizing what needs to be released, what needs to be held on to. The ego aspect was a very good reflective moment in that I know I've spent a lot of time working on it, but reaching a new layer of understanding of how deep it runs in my system and what layers in which I need to go to. Recognizing, for example, not utilizing the crutch of neurodivergency and high functioning to allow me to disassociate many different aspects of my existence is completely in transition in this moment, and I've recognized that. And the tools that I'm able to utilize currently the most are the foundation stones that have gotten me as far as I've gotten. Self-reflection. Keeping myself from reacting and recognizing when I'm triggered and how to properly work through that, through the shadow work. And in aspects, sharing layers of myself that I have shared with none other than myself. So, yeah, for me, it's a very transitional time as well. I appreciate you putting that to me.
I thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, that was wonderful.
Beautifully said.
Thank you guys. Alright, Chris, you are going to be right after Robin. I want to go ahead and let you two answer that question that was posed to us all. Yeah. Hi, Miss Robin.
Hi. I hope everybody is having a grand experience today. Thank you so much for having me up here. And the universe works in such freaking amazing, fabulous, in your face, sometimes like not so in your face kind of ways when they present things to us that we need to like align with or learn. And let me just say that this right here, this present moment, totally aligns with everything that has been happening for me the last few days. What do I use to get through my ascension periods or moments of realizing that I'm having an aha moment? Is that basically what the question is, right?
Yeah, we're talking about like transitions, recognizing we're going through them,
Right.
what tools we utilize to help us through them.
Yeah. This is so fitting. I am definitely going through probably one of the more major transition periods in my whole life. And my tools that I've used to get through it have changed throughout the part of the journey of this moment. I would have to say right now for me, it's the awareness of being present. That is probably what is getting me through this transition period right now. Because when I can stay here in this moment, right? It allows me to see what is truly in my reality. It allows me to process and think about what is actually truly happening for me. Notice how I said that. What is truly happening for me. I get more realizations, more light bulbs tend to go off when I take the time to actually like look instead of like glancing at situations, at the situation, at the current moment, at the reality that I am creating. And I realize also lately, every time I speak to another person, I am truly speaking to myself in all aspects. I am literally having a conversation with myself. So when I hear people say the word the reflection, I feel like here lately, I've understood that on a different level than what I have before. And I think I understand it better now, than I ever have before. I'm sorry if I'm coming across like I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm jumping around, but in my mind, I'm not jumping around.
You're not jumping around. Or at least you flow to me, so I'm
Okay.
here with it.
Okay, because I'm like, I don't even know half of what I'm saying, so this is totally probably half channeled and everything else right now. But it's the process is so difficult sometimes, especially when we're first starting, right? It's so difficult because for me, I wanted to see everything like, okay, what does it really look like? I wanted somebody to tell me what I needed to be looking for. Describe to me, tell me what it is, because it has to be written out. It has to be in stone. It has to be, I'm looking for exactly what you're telling me I'm looking for. But ding, ding, ding. Now I'm not seeking what everybody else has looked for because I'm seeking myself. So I don't need to ask anybody to tell me what I'm looking for because it's different for everybody. Completely different for everybody. Even though we are reflections, what I need to find, what I need to understand, what I need to grow through is going to be totally different from everybody else. So to understand and know that what I'm searching for is within me and that I can find it just fine. And I don't need somebody else's guidebook. I don't need somebody else's eyes to tell me. I just need to trust myself. That's all I need to do. And I guess somebody needed to hear that because that was totally, thank you for letting me share. And done.
Thank you. I kind of needed to hear that a little bit, sister.
The quarries of being a host, and you switch the picture and it unmutes you, and then yes, Robin, that was freaking epic. And y'all, that's the spiritual aspect of this roundtable. And just to be clear, I do encourage you to channel from your highest perspectives. So yeah, sometimes it's a bit flowy, yeah, but I appreciate it.
My waterworks are turned on right now, and I'm like, I don't even know why.
I mean, I honor the feelings to that degree. Yeah, that's a me thing. So we are going to pass this question to our dear brother Chris and also co-host. Guys, I am not on the ball with the co-host aspect tonight, so let me rectify that and say that this is a joint account we gratefully share with amazing members of our soul fam. We co-host. You find different members of us in this seat every Sunday, at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there we go. Alright, Chris. Welcome in, bro.
Thank you. Can you just reinstate the question? Even you can say it exactly how you said it before. It's been a while since I heard it.
Yeah. We're talking about transitions we've gone through, what we're currently utilizing as our primary tool to help us through our transitions and ascensions. And yeah.
Awesome. I've utilized a lot of things in my life as far as what I considered a tool. Some things were just masking things in my life. Some things, and I felt like it worked in that moment, don't get me wrong, but in reflection, a lot of those things didn't necessarily work for me. And that was because it's the masking part. It's kind of like going and getting some kind of potpourri that's going to mask the odor of something. You need something that's going to eliminate the odor. So finding tools that really worked for me, what I would consider like on a sober base. What I mean by that is when I used to drink a lot, I thought it's something I needed in my life. And, I utilized it as a tool in my life to kind of forget about what was going on in my life. And it worked in the moment. It utilized what I wanted, It took a few years before it sank in that that's just not what I need. But regardless, I'm not trying to go down like a pity party road as far as that goes. But I'm just saying, I think we utilize things in our lives in the moments that we are to get us through those moments that we're in. And I've gained so much more awareness than when the time frame I was just talking about, because we're talking about like mid-20s, and I'm early 40s now. But as far as gaining awareness of picking the right tools that work for me, I love crystals. I utilize crystals. But one of the biggest tools that I utilize is a hobby, and my hobby is collecting crystals. And it's also our different minerals, all kinds of different stuff, fossils, but also digging for them. And that's something that it brings me a tremendous amount of joy no matter what kind of energy shift that I'm experiencing throughout the week. It's something that can just bring me back to me in that moment. Now, we still have to evolve to energy shifts when we talk about a collective. But not everything's necessarily permanent when we talk about energy shifts either. Sometimes we have spikes in our energy and it comes back down. But what we've really been talking about lately is kind of a lot of new earth has been talked about, and that's a big shift. And those are things that have been what we kind of do in our spiritual steps, what we call baby steps, after we reflect back on many years of going through our path. They start to look like these baby steps we've went through, and that's what I've experienced has been going on. You start to see these larger spikes when you go into scales of things. Whenever there's always that curve and that spike, and I feel like that's what we're at, in my opinion, when it comes to the collective. So recently, tools that I use is a lot of meditation when I feel like I need to be rebalanced, or need to adapt to some type of energy shift going on, whether it's an alignment of planets or it's just amplitude of different things. Honestly, I'll meditate, and that's one of my biggest tools. And just trying to have the perspective of enjoying life and not taking life for granted. I've did that for over my life experience so far, or half of my life experience so far, and I just, that's something that every time I get in a conversation with somebody that's older with me, it usually leads to that right there. Don't take life for granted. So there's try to enjoy every experience that we get to enjoy, because that's what we're here for. So I feel like if we enjoy those experiences, we're naturally going to ascend. So, but love you guys.
We love you too, bro. So, you brought that really full circle. And in essence, that's kind of what I posed to us at the start, was our takeaway of our gratitude reaching that point where we can recognize it for what it is and be grateful for what it is. So I appreciate you bringing that full circle. I'm going to go ahead and bring it to the final thoughts at the top. Y'all can just say your final thoughts. Give yourself a shout out if you go live on a regular basis. Do your thing. Vinny?
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So I just want to say that this has been an amazing experience tonight, and the love and compassion you guys have shown for each other is truly breathtaking, and it makes me smile. So for my final thought, I'm just going to leave you with this, right? And it's because we talked about transition, so after the transition starts something new. So just remember this, and it goes like this. I hope you allow your life to be bigger than you ever thought it could be. I hope you allow it to embody more beauty than it ever thought possible. I hope you don't get trapped by small stories, the little ideas you had about what the future may be. I hope you don't long for things you've outgrown just because they are familiar. I hope you don't consider everything you lose a loss. I hope you don't define yourself only by the limits of what you've known. I hope you don't cap your potential at what others have said is possible. Most of all, I hope you receive the light when it hits you. I hope you let yourself do more than ever thought you could. I hope you lose yourself as who you are. This is my message for you. So repeat after me in your head. In my wholeness, I shine like the sun, and I am happy. My heart remains tender and open. I love each and every one of you, and thank you for having me here.
Hey, Vinny. You know we all appreciate you, man. And that was beautiful. We really appreciate you throwing us a Vinny original on here. That's epic, man.
Unfortunately, that's not by me. The quote's not by me, but I read it, so I made it my own.
Hey. You know, it speaks in resonance, right? Look, you put it out there in your way, right? Exactly, Eddie. That was just me putting my foot in my mouth. Don't worry about it, Vinny. Alright, Rupanis.
You want to say happy birthday again, Vinny? Tonight, I felt that there was a lot of work that was done. You know, a lot of connecting to the source energy, God, you know, pouring down and flowing through us and helping us get through the things that we need to get through in order to move forward. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the space. I appreciate all of you guys. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Most definitely, Rupanis. We appreciate you, bro. And for sure, y'all, drop some love for Vinny. Well wishes, much love. Alright, Miss Robin, your words for the night.
My words for the night. Whoa. Happy birthday, Vinny. Y'all are beautiful. You all are truly beautiful. And in seeing your beauty, it allows me to see my own. And I don't even, the gratitude that I have for that is there's no words for. As my dog sits here and drinks water in the background, so just ignore that. So I just want to say it has been a journey that I have been seeking and looking for and imagining and manifesting for so long, and yet it seems like it is nothing like I have ever pictured it to be. In fact, it has been greater than I could have ever imagined. The realizations are so epic and powerful, and I love that there's a space here to be able to share that experience, and without judgment, without feeling crazy, without thinking that, you know, what I'm saying just sounds totally off the wall. And I can feel the love here. And that is so important. And so I thank you again for having the open arms and the acceptance, for seeing me for me, exactly where I'm at. So thank you. Oh, and
appreciate you.
I'll be going live after this, probably about a half an hour after this ends, for my Rock and Robin cards of self-discovery and embodiment. So yeah, just, you said shout out, so there's my shout out.
Heck yeah, I love that. I like your title there too, the Rock and Robin. That's epic.
Thank you.
Right, Philip? Yeah, for sure.
Robin, tweet, delete.
We tap all day long. I don't huff and puff and I don't sing a song, but I you know, we can put other words there. It'll be fine.
Slinging them cards, yeah.
Right?
All right. Well, y'all make sure y'all catch Miss Robin here in about 30 minutes. That's going to be awesome.
It's the third in the series, so it'll be, I'm trying to do it every Sunday, and it's 2 different decks. One is about the self-discovery and identifying, and then the other one is about integrating. So it's been pretty freaking phenomenal, and I'm super stoked about continuing it. It keeps me accountable, so I'm good with that.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, that accountability and keeping yourself accountable is an amazing tool. And I love that you dropped that little gem in your final words. All right, we are going to drop it down to Brother Chris for your final thoughts.
My final thoughts. I'm going to piggyback off of Robin and say you guys are all beautiful, of course, and you have been ever since I've met you. You've been amazing. So, and I've had a long weekend. You know, went to a rock and gym metal show. It's a 3-day show that we had a booth in, and it's been fun. I'm tired, but it's been amazing. I got a lot of new stuff for my collection that I end up coming across some good trades on some of my big quartz that I have. So, been excited about that. I'll be reorganizing my shelves here shortly. Not tonight, but this week coming up. But my final thoughts on this topic, I was kind of wanting straight off, I'm sorry. My final thoughts on this topic is, you know, we talk a lot about energy shifts, and we talk a lot about adapting and then tools to utilize it. And we all just talk from our experience of what we've used, and that's a big, huge part of this journey, is finding what works for you. And you know, anybody on this panel, they have amazing experiences that can help many people, but might not be able to help that one in particular person. So there's so many people in this community that there's somebody out there that will help you with whatever it is that you might be going through right at this moment. So just keep your head up. Remember to smile. And it's always brighter when you turn the corner. It just always is. You just keep going. So, love you guys.
We love you, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Brother Chris. It's always good to hear you.
Yeah, I love you, Brother Chris. I needed to hear that. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone, from where you were. Welcome in to where you're going. Because we're not going back. All right? We are not going back. We're gonna put it down like we know how. Robin mentioned a little alludingly that it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of where you are, of what you're doing. We are under pressure every day. You feel it, I feel it. It feels good, doesn't it? Don't it? I don't need you to agree. But it feels good, y'all. You know it. I know you do. As we depart from that which was, we accept that which will be without control of it. No one is in control of it. It is important to understand that the only thing you can control is your perception of it. And you do not need validation. You do not need someone to agree with you to know that, hey, I see a red car. No, that didn't record. Yeah. No. That's behind us. There is an incredible expansion of perception that we are all experiencing. Ask, and you shall receive. No one asks. If you do not ask, you will not receive. Quiet. Shh. Quiet your mind, right? Go within. We all know that the answers are all inside. Our heart beats together. That beat has always been there. We've just become part of it. There are keys. Yes, there are keys. And I would not hold anything back from anything that you want to experience. Because it's been told we create our reality. No, we do not. We create our experience of this reality that we share. I know that I may be aloof, but know that you're all here for one purpose, as I am. To unite. Are we not here to unite? Do not challenge me for your own purpose, your own perception of reality that you are experiencing. Yes, help those that need help, but do not use those that need help to be better. We only can be better than we were yesterday. We are in a we are in a new wave, a new way, a new reality. And we must all, yes, come to terms with that in our own way. Be happy. Be free. And know that you are exactly where you need to be. Even if you are surrounded by no one, as I am. I choose to be here and allow my experience to be a part of yours as you accept it. With love, always. your vision in Christ.
With love always. Thank you. Thank you. My appreciation to all of you amazing panelists tonight, to all the amazing commenters. This is what we do it for, guys, is to learn and expand and grow together. We, of course, will be back next Sunday, same time, same place. Might be a slightly different voice. That's the beauty of it. But hey, you get it. It's the grace of it all. We appreciate you guys. Much love.
Much love.
Much love, everyone. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much for being here, y'all. Stay amazing.